So did you feel like you had to tone yourself down or tune yourself out?
Yeah, so much. Like throughout my schooling, anytime I tried to express, like I wanted to take singing lessons or dance classes, I had to basically, to myself, I downplayed my own passion in these things because when I expressed it, my family's response often was, why don't you graduate first and then you can do all of these things? You have your whole life ahead of you. And so, and they were doing their best. I think that they could. They provided me with food, they provided me with shelter and lots of love and so many of these experiences. I think they really did the best they could. However, providing music or dance classes was not a priority for them. So I had to tone it down myself. Like I had to tell myself for many, many years, constantly, this feeling, this desire that I wanted to be entertaining in some way and be creative in some way, and constantly toning it down, telling myself, no, you should just focus on your studies, and that as you grow older, you'll find a way to sort of live with it. That's what I told myself all the time. And so I was toning it down quite a lot when I was in India, and tuning myself out too. I remember like listening to music constantly over and over again, where the cassettes would have to be like, I'd have to buy the cassette again because that was worn out from listening and rewinding and fast forwarding. And so I used music for sure to tune myself out too when I felt like my life experience was not, or my life situation was not allowing me to be able to express myself in all of the ways that I wanted to. And it wasn't completely like that. I did take steps, like I was a cultural secretary at my college, so I was organizing functions and events, and I was doing some of that even when I was in my undergraduate. But what I want to do, which is what I'm doing right now, which is like make a living and like do this full time, that definitely was not, like I could not express that. I had to be like just shut up and do follow the program that was presented to me. Yeah. And in some ways, I feel like I have been, when it comes to nightlife and music and dance, my own experience has been, like I said, my parents were not that keen about me joining these activities professionally or learning professionally. And being from a lower middle class in India, going clubbing was not necessarily something that was for me at the time. Like I think things have changed in India now, but at the time it was really for the rich and elite to be going out dancing or something. So in some ways, I have this natural inclination to make it really accessible to everybody because I think it should be accessible to everybody. And sometimes and even now, I'm sure there are dance related events where it can get a little bit like more like, what are you doing here? And who do you think you are? Or something like that. And I think that I don't identify with that. And I identify with the idea of it's just music and dance. Like, don't take yourself too seriously. Just go out there and have a good time. And so I think my own experiences and in some ways rebelling against those experiences in a positive way helps me to produce these events. And a big part of it really is, no matter what kind of intention and energy you bring out to this world, you'll always connect with people, similar kinds of people, like based on what energy you're putting out. So for me, I have people in my life that have gravitated towards me and I've gravitated towards them. And when their way of thinking about life aligns with my way of thinking about life, especially when it comes to events in music and dance, then they've sort of become a part of my story. And there are people who have been working with me for 8-9 years, and new people keep getting added. And by nature, we are all very inclusive. And so that also is a very, very strong part of using my fire for good. If it's not just my fire, but it's a community and all of us are invested, then it has that much more power to it.